Well, welcome to a very healthily populated Coplex Family Sports Park for this Gold Coast derby. Gold Coast United against Gold Coast Knights in round 22 of the National Premier League's Queensland season. Round 22, hasn't that come around quickly? And all so much to play for, particularly for these two sides. Gold Coast Knights, of course, pushing for a maiden title in what is their first season in the National Premier League's Queensland. Gold Coast United not quite out of the hunt for a perhaps surprise finals berth as well. They're sitting in 4th and 5th respectively as things stand. It is the visitors who have the supremacy in terms of their league position though as things stand. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of this match, we'd like to thank the sponsors of both teams. Gold Coast United would like to thank Orbitz Elevators and Exim, whereas Gold Coast Knights would like to thank the Croatian Sports Centre and Football Gold Coast. And the two teams are making their way out onto the field right now, and we'll run through the teams quickly for you first, starting with the hosts. In goal for them will be new signing Jackson Boyd, and in front of him is number 3 Michael Thwaite, number 4 Juna Yabe, number 5 Dean Verneson, number 5 Jason Campbell, number 8 Justin Mackay, number 9 Brandon Reeves, number 10 Connor Smith, number 11 another new signing Xander Guy, playing just his second match for Gold Coast United, number 15 Brandon LeMay, number 16 Tom Miller. The Gold Coast Knights line up as follows. In goal for them will be Josh Langdon. In front of him, number 2 Jaden Walker, number 4 Danny Morton, number 6 Roman Hoffman, number 9 Sam Smith, number 10 Max Brown, number 11 Jaden Prasad, number 13 Jared Carl, number 16 Mitch Nichols, number 23 Matt Schmidt, number 26 Luke Austin. If you're expecting to hear another name in that lineup, Matt Smith, he doesn't quite have clearance as yet to take his position in this Gold Coast Knights side, but that is the big news from the National Premier League Queensland this week. Matt Smith, former Raw captains, played over 120 matches in the Hyundai A-League for a combination of North Queensland Fury and the Brisbane Roar. He's returned from the Hong Kong Premier League, where he's recently won the Senior Shield and the FA Cup with Kitchee, and he has returned to the National Premier League's Queensland and Gold Coast Knights. We are hoping we might be able to get a quick chat with him at half time, so keep yourselves engaged in this stream on Football Queensland. You can follow us on Facebook and of course YouTube possibly a preferable option because you can rewind and fast forward the action as it happens. Gold Coast have their team photo. Big game for Gold Coast and a big crowd in attendance as well. Gold Coast football did rearrange everything over the week to make sure that they could have as many people here as possible on Saturday. Unfortunately, that game was rained out, and the pitch is still a little bit soggy, and you would expect it to cut up as this game goes forward because it's still soft in a lot of places. Not the smoothest of surfaces here at Coplex, it has to be said. Does have a lot of traffic on it over the course of the weeks, but doesn't look too bad today. The rain appears to have done it some good in terms of bringing it back to life. We should see an exciting game of football. 1-1 was the score the last time these two sides met. Connor Smith scoring the opening goal for Gold Coast United, and Gold Coast Knights replying through Max Brown, one of his 8 goals this season. He scored 3 in his last 2 games, says Max Brown, including 2 against Peninsula Power last week in what was a very impressive performance from the Gold Coast Knights, who are in 4th spot but do have 3 games in hand on the teams above them, with the exception of Olympic. They only have 1 game in hand on Olympic, who of course are in action up the road in Redcliffe against Peninsula Power. As our referee today gets things underway, and it's Gold Coast Knights in the white shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks, kicking from left to right as you see things, and the home side are in the yellow. And early touch there over on that far side for Brandon LeMay. He'll launch this ball forward to Connor Smith. The Englishman goes to deck and he wins a free kick. A little bit of a shove early, and I don't think the referee is going to want to see that develop too much over the course of this evening. Bonus midweek football brought to you by Football Queensland. I'm Simon Smale, and Sam Smith just picks up the ball there and lays it back to Walker. Walker's ball back towards Smith was ineffective, and it's cleared by Campbell. It'll go all the way back to Josh Langdon in the Gold Coast Knights goal. Langdon alternating goalkeeping duties with the Knights, with Tim Allen, former Brisbane City and Ballymena player. He's on the bench away to our right alongside his coach Gray Piddock. There's an ineffective pass from Connor Smith, and he'll look to make amends, and does with the little deflection there. Here's Reeves, plays the ball out wide to Xander Guy. Xander Guy, cross comes in. Just behind Brandon Reeves. It could have been a fantastic start for the hosts. Kyle coming up against the vastly experienced Michael Thwaite. Be an interesting battle. Here is Kyle again, chooses not to jump that time against Yarbe. Walker did get a little bit of the foot of his opponent there. That was really well read by Michael Thwaite. A neat interplay. Thwaite going on one of those mazy runs that's profligated 4 goals so far this season. He scored against Moreton Bay United all the way back in round 1, and has added to that with goals against Sunshine Coast, Easts and South West Queensland Thunder, the latter two coming in recent weeks, as Mitch Nichols' first touch of the match isn't the best. Did look like Hoffman had hands on Brandon Reeves. Nothing doing, says the referee, and then that pass from Morton is far behind Jaden Prasad, and that's perhaps a good thing if you're a Gold Coast United fan, because we've seen how quick and how devastating Jaden Prasad can be when he has the ball at his feet and in space in front of him, and he did have space over on that far side in front of a very well populated main grandstand. It's an excellent crowd here at Coplex. Never know what sort of crowd you're going to get in these National Premier League Queensland matches, particularly on a Tuesday night. The fact that it's school holidays may well be helping the crowd here. Yarbe. Wide to Miller. 20-year-old goes wide again, and that was poor from Reeves. He was flat-footed. Need to be a little bit sharper. You can see the pitch cutting up already on this near side. It'll be worth keeping our eyes on, and have to, or the players rather, will have to make sure that their feet are well set before embarking on any runs. A free kick is given in front of that well-populated grandstand over on the far side of the field. Prasad motioned to take it. Instead, Knights choose to keep possession and go back into their own defensive half. That's launched towards Sam Smith. Sam Smith rises, doesn't get the better of Yarbe, who did well. And then it was Miller tracking back. A little bit of bother now, though, but United do really well. And here's Mackay, who would know so many of these players, former teammates of Gold Coast City and Palm Beach, where Mackay won the 2014 Premiership and Championship. Reached 2 FFA Cup quarterfinals with Gray Piddock's Gold Coast City / Palm Beach Sharks side. Many familiar faces, and of course, as you'd expect from the two Premier teams on the Gold Coast, there is plenty of cross-pollination between these two sides. Lots of familiar foes, and indeed that familiarity can breed contempt. We did have a red card in the first meeting between these two sides as the cross comes in. It's well leapt for by Langdon, and that's very confident at the back post from the youngster. We will just have a brief interruption in proceedings, and we'll look to choose an opportune moment to do that while we switch providers, just so we can get all the graphics for you. But we will endeavour not to miss anything, and we will perhaps wait to see how this Gold Coast Knights attack plays out, particularly with Jaden Walker with his hands on the ball. Sam Smith making a run. It's a decoy though, as Nichols picks up possession. Back to Smith. Now Walker. Walker back to Smith. Was he offside? No, says the assistant on his near side. Smith's cross wasn't the best. Prasad may be able to conjure something with his back to goal, though. He's being challenged over on that far side by LeMay. Prasad does brilliantly to whip a cross in. It was in the general direction of Jared Kyle, but now Gold Coast United will break. Here comes Brandon Reeves. There's options on this near side in the form of Tom Miller. McKay finds him. Yabe has continued to run. That's a really good tackle from Mitch Nichols. His work rate is absolutely exceptional, but he wanted a little bit more support there because Miller managed to escape his clutches. Heavy touch from Smith. Yabe might work out for him though. He's being challenged by Hoffman. Hoffman does well. It is a goal kick. Only the one draw for Gold Coast United so far this season. That did come in that Gold Coast Knights match at the Croatian Sports Centre up at Carrara. In front of a very big crowd there and a healthy crowd here tonight. So I'll keep mentioning it because it is impressive on a Tuesday night to get such an impressive turnout. Prasad's got his skates on here. Wernerson will have to be quick, and was. Good possession and position for Gold Coast Knights in the white shirts. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us. Prasad with a lovely touch. Tries to go over the top. Thwaite had to be careful there. Stood his ground. There was some cries of constant. From the Gold Coast Knights bench away to our right, but I don't think realistically they thought it was a penalty. Michael Thwaite just stood his ground and waited for to run into him. It was good defending from the experienced former A-League star. Darbo's being forced back by Sam Smith. Miller inside to Campbell. Campbell with a decent pass all the way through towards Xander Guy. Ran it. Josh Langdon will distribute the ball quickly out to that far side of the field. A quick start to this match here. Schmidt. See, I have to admit. Must have been for cutting off a player. have to chase back to try and stop Smith from getting the outlet ball, and does so brilliantly. A sloppy from Sam Smith. Has two Knights to get past and manages to get past both of them. The cross comes in towards the back post. It's headed away by Matt Schmidt. And Luke Austin will look to clear his lines here. Instead, it's expertly played out by Gold Coast Knights. Excellent composure at the back from the visitors. That was a really good moment for Gold Coast United, and it may still be coming, this opening goal here, as United build from the back once more through Thwaite. Yabe looking for that miracle pass, and it almost will take a miracle to get that ball under control. It was a good bit of skill though from, I think it was Reeves over on that far side. Guys in the middle, and he gets dispossessed, and here's an opportunity now for Jared Kyle. Kyle versus Wernerson. Wernerson being stood up by Kyle, a little bit too heavy a touch, and McKay, who knows Wernerson so well, knows Jared Kyle so well. They were teammates for so long at Gold Coast City and Palm Beach Sharks. The cost is a corner though. Referee's going to have a bit of a discussion here with one of the players. I think that player is Roman Hoffman, just saying calm down to the former Newcastle player. Perhaps getting a little bit of chat. Motioning towards his ear now towards Luke Austin. He doesn't want any of that chat, which is perhaps understandable. Corner comes in from the far side. It's a teasing one. Kyle jumped. And it's hammered clear by McKay. Only as far as the head of Schmidt. It's going to come straight back. Mitch Nichols. Just challenged. Is it a throw into Knights? It is. Back over on that far side. It appeared that Mitch Nichols couldn't keep that ball in. He has been an impressive signing, as you'd expect from Mitch Nichols. Played over 226 matches in the A-League for a combination size, including Brisbane Roar, Melbourne Victory, Perth Glory and Wellington. Played his last A-League game in January this year, so still has that pedigree. But he hasn't been one to rest on his laurels since dropping down to the second tier here in Australia. He really has upped his game, if anything, and just orchestrates and bends matches to his will from what I've seen so far. Kyle linking up with Walker as Knights probe for an opening on the edge of the penalty area. They are forced back though. Walker, in fact, going all the way back towards Josh Langdon. Good pressure from Gold Coast United. Knights will have to try the other side of the field, and that ball a little bit too far ahead of Jaden Prasad. Just over 16 minutes gone here at Coplex. Gold Coast United 0, Gold Coast Knights 0. Simon Smale bringing you all the action from round 22 of the National Premier League's Queensland. And that was Roman Hoffman going on a little run towards halfway. Took a deflection on its way through, and it'll be the other number 6, Jason Campbell, who picks up possession. Campbell, a former Palm Beach Shark and Gold Coast City player. Played 19 times in the NPL between 2014 and 17 for the artists formerly known as Palm Beach. And he dropped back into the Gold Coast Premier League for the 2018 season before signing with Christian Rees' side. Christian Rees, of course, a former player with Palm Beach Sharks himself. Yabe intercepts. It was due in no small part due to the pressure of Tom Miller. Yabe goes inside, then wide to Miller, who's been impressive so far. It's not the best pass to Connor Smith, and Connor Smith lets young Tom Miller know all about that. 22-year-old schooling the 20-year-old as Campbell delivers the hand pass to Yabe. To feet of Smith. Miller looking to go around Walker once again. Unable to do so on that occasion. Smith may be young, but he really does orchestrate traffic from the midfield of Gold Coast United. Just wants a little bit more at the moment. Xander Guy almost picks that ball off. That could have been risky. Instead, it will be Gold Coast Knights who launch a counter-attack with that pass a little bit too far ahead of Jaden Prasad, and he shows his frustration with Matt Schmidt there. It's just not quite ticking for either of these two sides as of yet. Still goalless here at a very well-populated Complex Family Sports Park. The mist did threaten to come across a little bit earlier, but does appear to have abated so far. No options. So Hoffman goes long towards Smith. Smith jumps higher above Yabe. Yabe reacts quickest though. It has to be hammered away to safety. Knights on the attack once again. Hoffman. Mitch Nichols hasn't quite had the impact that we have expected from him so far this season in his short spell so far at Knights. Smith goes to ground and wanted a free kick. He didn't get one. And then flew into that challenge on Walker fairly. Some instruction from Gray Piddock towards Roman Hoffman, who appears to be getting a little frustrated, but Piddock calmly delivering his instructions. Boyd had to jump, and he jumped bravely to get there ahead of Prasad and Kyle. Had the potential to be an awkward moment for the youngster, who's being dwarfed by Jared Kyle when they're standing next to each other. Big forward line, particularly this side of the Trident for Gold Coast Knights. Smith and Kyle, two big units. Hoffman, it's an awkward one for Walker. I don't think Hoffman quite expected it. Must have taken a bit of a bobble. We have mentioned the pitch, and it is cutting up slightly, although it's not in quite as bad shape as it might have been. Did have a lot of rain here over the last week in the southeast corner of Queensland. Just 10 minutes back from the beach here on the Gold Coast, the southern part of the Gold Coast. Talabudgera. Nichols goes past one, can't get past Yabe though. Connor Smith just asking the question of our referee, and the referee is responding to that question. Just wanted to have a chat with Connor Smith. Martin Creans is our listed referee. Dion Bradley and Cameron Fawcett running the lines. Our Total Tools officiating team. Yabe delivers the knuckle ball towards Brandon Reeves. Campbell. Wide to LeMay. Lovely little flick there. Didn't find its mine. Could have been a real delight. Xander Guy. And that ball's coming straight for us in our commentary position on the bounce. Yabe will have another opportunity. That time towards Reeves. Reeves is being pressured by Kyle, and Kyle did just put the arm out, and it just invited the referee to make a decision. And speaking to Gold Coast Knights officials before the match, and they said they need to cut out the silly yellow cards. They're missing Oscar Dillon, who has been suspended after receiving 5 yellow cards so far this season. Gray Piddock has been really emphasising that these silly yellow cards, almost a mistake at the back there. Langdon eventually grabbing hold of the ball. Could have been an awful mix-up, because Guy was arriving at some pace at the back post. Knights able to gather though. They'll play the ball out midway through this first half. It's United 0, Knights 0 in the derby. Here's Prasad looking to make something happen as he comes inside. Nichols. Smith's wide, has space to deliver across towards Kyle. Smith chooses instead to go on a little run himself towards the edge of the penalty area, and has run himself into a little spot of bother. Gets the escape from Walker, but then Walker passes the ball straight into Yabe, and Yabe looks for an option ahead of him. Smith is ahead of him. Instead he goes through the legs of the referee towards McKay. Apologies, it's not McKay, it's LeMay. And LeMay Passes that ball out under the feet of Xander Guy. Neat footwork from Brown. Gold Coast Knights look to launch another attack down this near side. Smith's made a run. Nichols finds him. This time Smith delivers early, straight into the chest of Yabe, who shows no ill effects, the Japanese player. It will be a corner kick for Gold Coast Knights. Plenty of tall timber in the box. So Michael Thwaite will have to organise his defence well here. Just a reminder of the Aldi Miniroos kickoff programme, still available for children aged between 4 and 9 years old. 45-minute game-based activity. Each child receives an Aldi Miniroos participant pack, which includes a boot bag, football, water bottle and sticker sheet. As Boyd punches that ball away. Brown on the edge of the penalty area. Was there a handball? The hands all went up from those in white shirts. I'm not sure if one was raised from a player in yellow before that, though. Nevertheless, plays up the other end of the field now, but Reeves' pass wide towards Miller wasn't the best one, and now Smith is bundled out of it. It should be a Knights throw-in. Yabe can't believe it, but it did look like it was bundled away. Certainly this side of halfway as well, and Walker will take it quickly. He'll go back to his centre-back, Roman Hoffman. Impressive start to that counter-attack from Gold Coast United, but Reeves' pass wasn't the best. It was 2-on-2 at the back there for a moment there. You have to make those opportunities count in matches as tight as this, and it has been tight so far as Nichols pressures at the back. Thwaite showing his experience. Wernerson gets caught by Nichols. Nichols can't keep it up, and Nichols is limping away from the contact there. Might have got a secondary collision from the ball, and he doesn't look too happy at the moment, and he might just go to deck. The referee has just noticed. Nichols might just be okay. It might have just been a bit of a stinger. A 30-year-old who has made such an impact. Only scored 1 goal in the league in his 9 appearances. That came against Peninsula Power last week. Hugely impressive 4-0 victory that once again threw the cat amongst the pigeons. They inflicted Peninsula Power's first defeat in what seemed like several years in the FFA Cup, although they in turn were then knocked out by Brisbane Strikers, who will take on Wellington Phoenix on August the 7th. I'll come back to the FFA Cup later in the broadcast, but Knights really have got the wood over Peninsula Power at the moment. And it made the race for the Premiership very, very interesting, as that pass was a little bit low from Campbell. McKay did really, again, sorry, it's LeMayo from that far side who did really, really well. Connor Smith linking up with Miller. The intricate passing is difficult on the bobbly surface, it has to be said. Campbell. Anderson let that run a little bit. It's a really good ball from McKay to the feet of Miller. Miller linking up with Smith. Smith does well, gets a 1-2 inadvertently from Xander Guy. Guy will eventually get the ball out wide towards Yabe. Guy, Smith again to Guy. It was well intercepted by Brown. Brown just had to be there. Mitch Nichols has returned to the field over on that far side. See if we can hear anything. Michael Thwaite is screaming at Dean Wernerson, telling him to keep his position. Smith and Guy once again try that intricate little link-up play between the pair of them. Some 1-2s working to great effect on the edge of the penalty area when they come off. That's a decent pass over towards the far side by Brown, though, as Knights come onto the attack. Prasad, the pass goes back, and it was Schmidt with the shot. It never found its way through to the keeper, Boyd, though. It's deflected away, and the ball finds itself at the feet of Nichols. Nichols chips that ball into the palms of Boyd. He was looking for Jared Kyle, I think. Sam Smith was in attendance as well, but nice football from Knights. It's end-to-end stuff so far, but still goalless. Brandon Reeves uses his strength well, but might be able to hear Christian Reeves away to our left. He is absolutely berating his players for their lack of positioning in the same way that Michael Thwaite was just before in the defensive aspect. That's well intercepted by Miller. Miller goes to ground after a collision with Morton. No foul. And here comes Walker. Walker wants an option. That option was Brown inside, but couldn't squeeze the ball past Miller. And now Miller and Campbell link up. McKay, good football from Gold Coast United, under pressure. Guy, wide to LeMay. LeMay looking to go and use his pace against Schmidt. Schmidt back to Guy. Came off Guy last. Prasad raising the hand over on that far side, doing his defensive duties. And it'll be Knights again who build from the back. Just over 16 minutes remaining of this first half as Nichols launches this ball forward towards Carl. Carl's chest to Prasad. Prasad has a little bit of space and he might want to use it. Crabs back inside to the middle. This is where the Knights are dangerous. Walker, Sam Smith. Hoffman. Inside to Morton. Morton wide towards Nichols. Nichols can't control first time. Will still regain possession though. Schmidt dropping back. Schmidt over the top towards Prasad. Prasad battling with McKay. McKay does well. And a Guy almost had the ball trapped underneath his feet, but squeezes it out towards LeMay. LeMay will go long. McKay left it, so did Reeves. Will be a Knights throw-in. Half an hour gone, still goalless. Neither keeper has really been tested thus far. Testing game on a testing surface. Ball's launched forward by Yabe towards Smith. Well defended by Hoffman. Chipped forward by Walker. Carl can't get his foot on it, nor his head. And Thwaite doesn't have an option ahead of him, so chooses to go himself. Miller, he wanted the return ball, Thwaite. He's gone on a couple of those runs, Michael Thwaite, and after that, 36 years old, he probably doesn't want to go on too many of those runs without getting the ball back. Economy of effort and all that. Showing plenty of running so far though, the big centre-back. 13 times capped by the Socceroos. Also, Socceroos news overnight. Mark Milligan signing with Southend United in England's League One. Good signing for the Roots Hall-based club. And for this particular Southend United fan, I'm pretty happy about it as well. We'll get plenty of game time, perhaps that he wouldn't have got if he'd gone to a championship club, so we'll be plenty game fit. And it's a tough league, League One. I don't think it's a bad move at all. Have to accept that not all of the Socceroos at the moment are Harry Kewell or Mark Viduka and playing in the Premier League every week. It's just where we are at the moment as a footballing nation. McKay. McKay trying the switch pass. It was ambitious. Possibly the right idea. Smith had made the run, but it was just overhit from Justin Mackay. Englishman, 32 years old himself, from Swindon. Been in Australia nearly 10 years now, Justin Mackay. Joining Gold Coast United from Gold Coast Knights, or at least Gold Coast City, but turned into Gold Coast Knights. He had an option to stay with Grey Piddock and instead moved to United. That wasn't a good pass from Hoffman, and that's got Christian Rees excited down to our left. That will be greeted less enthusiastically, you'd think. Again, the ball just being given away. colourful character, Christian Ruiz. If you heard any of that language, we will apologise. And indeed do apologise. Nichols has withdrawn himself slightly from the match since suffering that, what looked like a knee injury. It just looked like a jarring knee injury, but he hasn't had the same mobility since and has dropped right back into that defensive midfield position, as opposed to really pulling the strings on the edge of the penalty area where we've seen him so effective. Might not matter though. Here's Max Brown. He goes wide to Smith. They spring that trap so quickly, the Knights. It took a deflection. It's awkward off the top of a crossbar. And it's out for a corner. Yabe was the player who came closest, and those deflections can be so awkward for goalkeepers, and Jackson Boyd was furiously backpedaling. And he wouldn't have got there, I don't think. That's the closest we've come so far. Would have probably gone down as an own goal for Yunya Yabe. He's been good, so it would have been slightly unfair on him. Free kick is given. Ball's in the back of the net. But the whistle went very quickly, and Danny Morton this time is going to have a little bit of a conversation with our Total Tools referee. Some consternation on the Gold Coast Knights bench. Gray Piddock, a picture of calm though. He just asking the question of the assistant on this near side, and the verdict was that the goalkeeper, Jackson Boyd, was impeded. I have to admit, I'd like to see that again. It didn't look like he was being impeded too much, other than what you'd normally expect from a corner. Sometimes goalkeepers need to make themselves big and make their presence felt in those situations, and I'm not quite sure Jackson Boyd did enough for me. Nevertheless, it was a free kick, and a little spot of bother now from Campbell. It was of his own doing. He gets the ball back though from Smith. Smith will receive a return pass. He'll chip that ball over the top towards Guy. Really good pass, good control from Guy. Chipped back towards the back post. Is it going to be the opening goal? It's a really good save by Josh Langdon. Came out brilliantly to close down Reeves. Lovely football from Gold Coast United. Smith's pass towards Guy was perfect. Guy on the turn towards the back post was exceptional. And Guy, that's brilliant! And it's chipped across, it's deflected away and off the post. Walker was there initially, and then the return effort hit the outside of the post. Both teams hitting the woodworking quick succession as this half livens up in the final 10 minutes. Brief flurry of activity here at Coplex. That's livened up the masses who've congregated over on that far side of the field. They will be looking towards the clock, awaiting for their warm drink at half-time. Will either side make the breakthrough? It is still Gold Coast United 0, Gold Coast Knights 0 in the Coast Cup. It was on as even at the Croatian Sports Ground as Guy gets unceremoniously dumped on the ground by Thwaite. Fairly, says the referee. The ball was forward towards Reeves. He was crowded out by two Knights defenders though. Wernerson this time. Intensity's just been raised a little bit by Gold Coast United, and they'll have the throw in as well. It came off Jaden Walker last. Just letting you know, we will have a short interview with new Gold Coast Knights signing Matt Smith at half-time. So we'll have our short ad roll and then we'll get straight into it, because he's a big news here in the National Premier League's Queensland, signing for Gold Coast Knights, former Raw captain, of course. What he'll do to this Gold Coast Knights team is really quite impressive. Be interesting to see how he goes when he eventually gets clearance, but we'll have to thank Gold Coast Knights for allowing access to Matt Smith, and indeed thank you to Matt Smith as well. Good jump from the other Smith in this Gold Coast Knights setup. Sam still came the way of Gold Coast United though. Reeves playing up-tempo football from the bench. Gets that ball to Yarbe. Miller's return pass wasn't great, and neither was Jason Campbell. He rose highest for former Palm Beach Shark. Heads the ball straight into the Gold Coast United bench. Campbell. Morton was trapped in a Gold Coast United sandwich. Hoffman delivers that pass over towards Prasad over on the far side. It's a really good pass as well, and Prasad did well to control it. First control of some of these players is absolutely exceptional. Yarbe does well to get ahead on that. Mitch Nichols back in a more forward position again. Can't squeeze that pass through though, so goes all the way back to Hoffman. How's that bobble? It's fallen for Max Brown though. Max Brown, Prasad, it's opened up for Prasad. Good save, Boyd. Return effort over on that far side wasn't the best from Matt Schmidt, but that's a really good save from Jackson Boyd, showing his shot-stopping ability there, because it just opened up like the Red Sea for Jaden Prasad. Excellent work for Max Brown as well to help that build-up. He scored last time out against Gold Coast United and has 3 in his last 2 games. So his eyes well have lit up. But Prasad, who's gone 5 games without a goal, the 22-year-old former Hume player, forced the save from Boyd, and it was a good one. He might have looked a little shaky early, Boyd, with some of those clearances, a little bit nervous perhaps. He's more than made up for it there. It's a free kick against Hoffman. You could see from this angle that Connor Smith had a big fistful of Roman Hoffman's shirt. Referee, though, was unsighted. We do have the advantage of the elevated position here. And what an opportunity. This will be 5 minutes before the break for the hosts to perhaps take the lead when it was the visitors who came so close just a few moments ago. Smith curls that one towards the back post. Kyle was back there defending. It's still there for Thwaite. Oh, that's a shot comes in. I'm not sure who hit it. It's off the roof of the net. It was Mackay. Justin Mackay absolutely hammered that shot. Sat up so nicely for him. And I don't think it was Langdon who got a touch. I think it was a defender who just threw his body in the way, and he might not have known much about it either. Smith will deliver again, this time from the corner. It's towards the near post, flicked on. They'll have another go, Gold Coast United. It's coming, says Jackson Boyd. You do get that sense that this game is just waiting to explode. Sides are getting closer and closer. Smith, deeper this time. It's awkward. It's punched by Langdon. LeMay comes back inside. Thwaite was the intended target. Instead, it's out towards Miller. Miller goes back to LeMay. LeMay, it's not the best cross. It's there for Yarbe, though. LeMay towards the edge of the area. Thwaite will take it under control. No, he'll head it back towards his striker, Reeves. Now Thwaite putting the pressure on Walker. Still there for Gold Coast United. Neat touch from Guy. Back towards Mackay. Mackay with the reverse pass. Guy was flat-footed somewhat, but the pressure really building from the home side now. The yellow shirts flooding forward. Thwaite has stayed up there, and he's going to race back now, though, because Jaden Prasad's got himself on his bike, and if not for Verneson, they could have been in a spot of bother, Gold Coast United, but centre-back for the Gold Coast United side did really, really well there and wins the throw-in for his side. Great pressure for Gold Coast United, but excellent defence from Gold Coast Knights to not allow too many clear-cut chances. Desperate defending at times. We are still goalless. Jaden Walker. Walker goes back to Hoffman. Nichols tries to let the ball do the work. Yarbe does brilliantly with his body. Now Miller has to use his against Walker. Yarbe again. Yarbe gets taken a little bit late by Kyle. Nothing doing, says the referee, and nice fancy footwork from Smith. He's shown plenty so far this half. That's a pass and a half to the feet of Xander Guy. Just unable to get onto the end of it. It's not Xander Guy, apologies, it's Brandon Reeves. Gold Coast Knights will build from the back. Somewhat hanging on before the half-time break, you'd think. Well, it can all change split second. You just get the feeling this game needs a goal. And then it'll explode. And it looks like the goal's going to come in favour of the home team if they can keep this up so far. Campbell back to Wernerson. Wernerson will use Thwaite. Thwaite to Campbell again. Campbell, one of 7 players from the Northern Rivers in this Gold Coast United side. Wernerson gets the better of Prasad with the snake hips. LeMay. Flat-footed was Brandon Reeves over on that far side. McKay does really well to get the better of Max Brown. Wernerson goes long. Something for Reeves to chase. Knights build again. Prasad hasn't had as much of the ball going forward as he would have liked. Oh, it's nice football. Morton in possession. He switches play to Nichols, who has space on this near side, and it's 2-on-1. Although support is arriving for Yarbe. Sam Smith looking to take on Yarbe. Yarbe really pushing Sam Smith off the ball there, surely. Nothing doing, says the referee. But suddenly it's Gold Coast Knights who have the initiative. Nichols can't wrap his foot around that enough to get enough elevation. And Yarbe takes the grass daisy cutter. Now we'll go on a little run himself. Nice football from Yarbe to Miller. Nichols chasing back and tackling his opposite number. Nichols' work rate is excellent. Austin. Austin goes forward now. Brown has space all of a sudden. Brown wide towards Sam Smith. Kyle's in the middle. Nichols is arriving. As is Brown and Prasad at the back post. Oh, it took a deflection. Came back off LeMay. It'll be a corner kick. Jackson Boyd looking to help Gold Coast Knights out, and that won't please Christian Rees, who tells him to leave it. Will be a corner, and it doesn't appear that the Knights are in particular rush to take this. They'll be happy perhaps going into the break at 0-0, because in the last 10 minutes or so at least it has been all Gold Coast United. Nichols goes short, perhaps to divert a defender away from Kyle, who's dancing around on the penalty spot. It does go short to Nichols in the end, though. Prasad from the outside of the area. It's an awkward one, and it so nearly fell at the feet of Jared Kyle. Smith with the shot back again from the edge of the penalty area. He'll go again. Is tackled or challenged by Miller. Not well enough from Miller. Oh, it's deflected over towards the back post, and Kyle heads it over. That's all we're going to have in this first half. What a way for it to end. We came so close to the opening goal, but neither side has been able to grab that cigar just as yet. Excellent football, though, from these two sides in the last 15 minutes or so. They'll both go into the sheds, and both coaches will have plenty to say in the half-time break, I'm sure. Although you'd say Christian Rees perhaps will be the happier with the way his side played at the back end of that first half. We're just going to have a very short break, and then we'll be back with Gold Coast Knights' new signing, Matt Smith.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe. And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade. We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Find your Liam!
You're a chemist in the know. Say hello to your chem bro.
Welcome to ChemPro, Sally. How are you today?
Oh, not 100%, I'm afraid.
Well, maybe we can help. We can do a pain management plan for you or a free blood pressure test.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
We also offer health checks and our pharmacist can give you an annual flu shot.
And the best advice to help you get back on track.
Over 80 stores from Caloundra to Lismore. ChemPro are your local community pharmacist.
Say hello to your chem bro.
Don't be afraid, don't hold back, just come and do it. You know, we're a bunch of old women that got involved and never done it before, and we had a lot of fun, so come and do it.
Honestly, the energy has been great and everybody's just enjoying it so much, and it's been a really good competition.
It doesn't matter what your skill level is, just come and have fun, that's what it's about. And, you know, as you can hear and see behind me, it's a lot of fun, everyone's getting involved.
It's a great opportunity, these carnivals, for players to measure themselves against other players around the state.
Our kids have learned a lot of lessons. We've had some very challenging games, been good quality games, and it's been a good exposure for the players that don't get the opportunity to play this level of teams to get the challenges and move forward with it and learn from the experience.
Well, I see the SAP like the foundations of a house. We're trying to develop the technical skills needed to play at the high level. I think in 2020, through the success of the carnivals we've done this year, is probably to invite SAP teams from around Australia and make it bigger. So rather than them playing teams that they're used to playing, they'll play against teams from other states.
Hey Emily, it's Jodie here. I cannot express how proud we are enough here at Redlands United. I remember the first day that you got a call up for the Open Ladies team, and you told me that you were nervous and a little bit overwhelmed, and I just laughed because I knew then that you had more skill than you were aware of. And now here we are a decade later and you're in the Matildas, and I know that you can't be nervous because you've got this and you are going to smash it. From all of us here at Redlands, thanks so much and good luck, Matildas.
1, 2, 3, Matildas! Look, Emily at the World Cup from Cleveland District State High School. Yeah, Emily! Go Matildas! Go Matildas! Good luck in the World Cup. Katrina, you're my hero. Good luck! Good luck in the World Cup. You'll do great. Go Matildas. We love you. Good luck in the World Cup. Good luck in the World Cup, and I hope you have fun. Go Matildas. Go Matildas. Hi. Good luck.
Hi Mackenzie, David Brand here from Burley Head Soccer Club. Just a quick message to wish you all the best for the World Cup. The club is really proud of your achievements, as we are proud of all of our Gold Coast girls and all of the Matildas. So on behalf of Burley Head Soccer Club, all the best, and bring home the World Cup. Thank you very much.
Go Bulldogs! Go Mackenzie! Go Matildas! Matildas.
We are Matildas.
We are Matildas. We are Matildas. We are Matildas. We are Matildas. We are Matildas.
My favourite part about playing football is that it's fun.
Because it's fun.
It's competitive.
Improves your ability to do stuff.
Because it's fun and you get to have fun and meet new people. It's just the game I play and it's a lovely sport and because it's fun and I'm playing with my friends.
I like to play football because it's a great experience to make new friends.
I like to play football because it's fun, you don't have to use your hands, and it's really fun to play. Teamwork, passing, and to never give up.
All that matters is just have fun and do your best.
Welcome back to Coplex Family Sports Park, Gold Coast Derby. It's goalless here between Gold Coast United and Gold Coast Knights. Not too far away from the second half getting underway, but alongside me is new Gold Coast Knights signing, Matt Smith. Matt, welcome to the NPL Queensland and welcome to the Gold Coast.
Simon, thank you very much. Thoroughly enjoyed the first half. It's great to see so many people here.
It's a fantastic crowd, isn't it? And I do wonder how many of them were perhaps hoping to catch a glimpse of the newest star to come into the National Premier League's Queensland.
I was pleasantly grateful for the postponement on Saturday, and then to find out that the game was put on for Tuesday. I'm like, I needed 1 week for the clearance. So, but no, obviously it's great to come down. My first glimpse of NPL football for a number of years now, and very, very competitive, great occasion, great turnout, so a good advertisement for football in South East Queensland.
And you had your first training session with the boys yesterday. How did it go?
Yeah, great. Obviously, it was a very light session because the boys had a game tonight, so great to meet the team. Very good bunch of boys, and looking forward to getting into some more training and into some more games.
It's probably a nice one to get into because you need to acclimatise back to South East
here,
Queensland winter. Yeah, well, see, we're used to this now, so we've had our cold snap. Now we're nice standing here in shirt sleeves, and I do feel for you though.
Played in an AFC game last Wednesday, like 36 degrees or something like that. So it's a stark contrast, but I'm grateful for it also.
So it will be a change in standard. You just mentioned you're playing in the AFC just last week. You go from continental competition to state-based competition. What do you hope to get out of this? Or more importantly, I guess, what do you hope to be able to deliver to Gold Coast Knights and football in the area?
Well, I think for those that know my personality, regardless of what standard I've played, and I've played at some various standards over my career, whether or not it's been university or professional or non-professional. I like to think that I'm a competitor, just because of the standards I'm playing. I still want to win. I still want to develop. I still want to learn. So, when it comes to what I want to get out of it, I want to enjoy my football. I think that with Knights, I'm going to enjoy the next couple of years, and what I can give, hopefully, I can help the club. I can help the team as best I can from my experiences, both on and off and off the pitch.
I saw you chatting with Thwacey just before as he went back onto the field.
I had a few tussles with him before that.
Yeah. Well, that's right. And there's a lot of former A-League players playing in this competition now, with Mitch Nichols as well, with Knights. And there's a whole number of other players. Matt Mundy at Olympic, of course.
Yep. Shano last year at Olympic.
Absolutely. That just raises the standard of the overall competition as well.
Well, what I've noticed being outside of Australia the last 5 years is is the development of the state-based competitions, keeping a close eye on football in Australia, because obviously it's a big passion of mine and an area which hopefully I can develop even further on. But to see so many ex-professional players, not only from a seasoned professional perspective, but we have the likes of Matty Smith that was at the U team when I was there also. It's Shannon Brady that's just been released from the Raw. So there's some great calibre of players which have been involved in the professional environment now coming into the NPL and adding very, very good quality and raising the profile of this league. So being overseas, I've seen that development over the last couple of years. And again, like, there wouldn't be so many people here tonight if that development and all the hard work from the clubs, from the volunteers, from the players, if the governing body also, if lots of people didn't do a lot of work behind the scenes, then this wouldn't be made possible.
Absolutely right. The thing that's really impressed me most about the returning A-League players, if you like, is the work rate. It's not that they've coming down, and I know that's not what most of your professional footballers are like. You're not just resting on your laurels. You're not just accepting, well, I used to play in the A-League. What can you guys do for me? Why aren't you putting the ball straight to my feet? It's for high work rate. You see this from Mitch Nichols in particular. He is a box-to-box player in the A-League, and he's a box-to-box player here in the NPL as well. How do you think playing alongside Mitch, yourself at the back, Mitch Nichols in the middle, and then having a player like Sam Smith, Jared Kyle and Jaden Prasad up front, I mean, this Gold Coast Knights is going to be a team to beat from now on? Yeah,
obviously I spoke with Adrian and Adam at length over the last couple of weeks about where the club want to be and I guess who that they want to be. You know, they're attracting some very big players, and the names that you just mentioned. And obviously I trained with the boys last night, and Mitchie is running just as much as there and tonight than what he was when we were playing together at the Raw. So I think you're absolutely right. I'm seeing Michael on Gold Coast United here, and obviously I've still lots of friends, and I still keep in touch with a lot of people. And you're 100% right in the fact that they're not just coming here just to see out their career. You know, players are coming here, they're putting in, they're winners. You know, they've had long-standing professional careers because they are very good professionals first and foremost, and B, that they want to keep winning, they want to keep pushing. So it helps them with the club. It helps themselves not only physically but mentally too. I think that many players will tell you from a professional level that you know, your physical condition is one, but I guess the day that you stop from a mental perspective, you know, you can feel it and you can see it. So I'm sure that Thready does the same as what Mitch and hopefully I can bring to the Knights is drive the team forward.
Your role at Knights will involve coaching as well. You mentioned you just completed your B licence with a certain former Socceroos captain, Mark Milligan, who's signed with my hometown club, Southend United.
Yes.
So it's good to see players, I guess, spreading their wings and, as you said, getting into the coaching side as well, and that's obviously an important part for you too.
Yeah, I mean, going on to the B licence, it was a great course run by the PFA and also the FFA. So there was around 20 current and ex professional players, international players, and obviously Millsy was one of the other current players on the B licence. So it's great to see that so many players now are actually getting into the coaching side of things, and whether or not it's grassroots or senior level, men's, women's, I think that the more us football players, even from a career development perspective, can understand the game more. I know that even players have come off the course and possibly at their clubs have tried to understand processes and structural work in terms of how sessions are kind of put on. So I think it helps players both on the pitch with their own training and then also for their own development, either whilst they're playing or post career. But you're right. One of my roles at the Knights will include some coaching. Trying to get onto the A licence in Melbourne. Just have to put the application in now and see if I can get onto that. So it is a big passion of mine, and maybe 1-0.
It is 1-0, and it's Sam Smith who gets the goal. It was the nod down from Jared Kyle, the excellent work on the left by Jaden Prasad. And it's Gold Coast Knights who've come out the blocks firing in the opening 5 minutes of this second half. They lead Gold Coast United by 1-0. And with attacking talents like that up front and you shoring up the defence at the back, the future's very bright for Gold Coast Knights.
No, it's a great finish, great work down the left. And happy that it's 1-0 to us and not 1-0 to the other team. So we'll still lots of football to be played, still 40 odd minutes to go. So I'm sure that United will come back, but hopefully we can put in a good performance in the second half and hope to get a couple more.
I can see that you're freezing, so I'll let you go, Matt.
No
Thank you
problem.
so much for joining me.
Cheers,
It's a real
Simon.
pleasure, and
Appreciate
we
it.
really look forward to seeing you out on the field, and hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later once the international clearance has come through. Best of luck with the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll talk before the end of the season as well.
Anytime.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Matt. Really appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
Cheers. Well, so we do have that opening goal, and it looks like Gold Coast Knights are going to be pressing again. Here is Kyle. He plays the ball all the way back now, and Knights will build once again in the back half. On the edge of the penalty area, Michael Thwaite just gets there. The ball is out for a throw-in. Thanks once again to Matt Smith. Excellent opportunity to have a chat with Brisbane Roar legend. Three times capped by the Socceroos, three-time A-League champion and two-time Premiership winner with the Socceroos. What an addition he'll be to this Gold Coast Knights team. And it is Gold Coast Knights who do lead in this second half. It was a tight first half, as Matt mentioned, and perhaps United did just have the advantage towards the end of that first half, but Knights have come out firing at the beginning of the second, and it'll be the home side that has it all to do. Was there a handball there from Brandon Reeves? It was close, but I don't think it was quite there, and unfortunately for United, Xander Guy couldn't get on the end of that one. So Sam Smith's goal, it's his 10th goal in the league this season. Ends a run of 3 games without a goal, and Jared Carl is going to come in here. Yarbe has been excellent at left back, or indeed wherever it is he's playing so far for Gold Coast United. He manages to just steal the ball away from Jared Carl, who pulled out the challenge in the last minute wisely. He would have been tempted to leave the boot in there and did well to avoid any sort of altercation. He's been played in a good spirit so far this match. It's the yellow shirts of Gold Coast United pressing at the moment. Justin McKay. Yarbe pops up again on the edge of the penalty area this time. Xander Guy. It's not the best pass, possibly intended for LeMay, and LeMay's going to have to chase back and deal with Jaden Prasad now. Prasad has pace. It is a Gold Coast Knights throw. Taken quickly. And Danny Morton. Yarbe's head again. Campbell. Campbell does really well. Just avoided the attentions of Mitch Nichols. Knights go back to square one with Langdon. Take a weight off Gray Piddock's shoulders. Enjoyed that early goal. It was the 3-pronged attack that worked so well and such devastating effect. Jaden Prasad, such a threat down the left-hand side. He's challenging Brandon LeMay now and pushing him back. He gives away the free kick though. And LeMay is, it's Prasad, he's walking away a little bit from that and just kicks the ball out of play. I don't think we're going to see a yellow card. He's been told not to do it again. Former Raw Youth and Redlands United player. Real talent, Jaden Prasad. Gold Coast United do have the ball at their feet. It's Dean Verneson. Headed away and suddenly a bit of space. McKay does really well to get the better of Prasad. And then he gets the better of Mitch Nichols as well. Excellent work from Justin McKay. Wide by Smith. Opportunity here for Gold Coast United. Smith again. Smith chips the ball over the top. Doesn't beat the defender, and now Mitch Nichols will have an opportunity to run into space. Doesn't quite have the pace to get past Jason Campbell, though. And now, Junior Yabe, once again, just picking up the ball and getting himself in those positions to steal possession. McKay switches over to the far side, and Smith is appealing for the throw, and he won't get it. Jaden Walker will take. Back underway quickly. Took a while for either side to settle down. Thwaite did not give away a free kick, according to the referee, and Jared Kyle is most unimpressed with that particular call. And he let the referee know as well. Switched to Schmidt. Schmidt just drew the player and plays inside to Morton. Nice touch by Max Brown. Kyle makes a run. Instead it's the return ball to Schmidt. Schmidt goes down, no foul. Here's Connor Smith. More Smiths than you can shake a stick at here today at Coplix Family Sports Park. A free kick, I think, is given against Jared Kyle. And Kyle and Connor Smith just continuing their discussion. I don't think that's an argument Connor Smith wants to have. Kyle motioning that he stamped down. Did Connor Smith. The discussion will continue between Jared Kyle and the referee. Have not had a yellow card yet in this game. There were 4 the last time the two sides met, all 2 Gold Coast Knights players, although there was a card of another colour. Daniel Wagstaff of Gold Coast United. Oh, that's a decent ball towards Smith. Did it touch the hand? It might have touched the hand. It's in the back of the net. The goal is given. It certainly looked like there might have been a faint suspicion of a handball by Connor Smith there. Gold Coast Knights bench is blowing up away to our right. I think it might have just touched the hand. I'm getting confirmation down the side here. There is no VAR. So we're being reminded, and Gray Piddock has shown his frustration by throwing his notes towards his own bench. Again, it did look like there was a bit of a hand involved there from Connor Smith, but we are all square once again here at Coplix Family Sports Park. The game perhaps needed it. Gray Piddock is still blowing up, and he does certainly have reason to. And it's been a long time since Connor Smith last found the back of the net. 13 games, in fact, as Prasad goes down. Right on the edge of the penalty area. Nothing doing, says the referee. Bit of a discussion going on between Matt Schmidt and the assistant on this near side. Schmidt getting a little bit of advice from Christian Rees at the same time. Playing multi-ball at the moment. Both sides need to switch back on. The game had been played in a pretty good spirit up to now. That might change as Kyle leaves a foot up there. He'll have to be careful. Luke Austin penalised this time for a foul on Brandon Reeves. This has got the potential to go downward very, very quickly if the referee's not careful here. He's just having a conversation with Jaden Prasad now, who's perhaps questioning why he wasn't given a free kick for being tripped on the edge of the penalty area. Not sure how much contact there was on first viewing, but the Knights may be pretty upset about the goal that was scored by Connor Smith. It looked like the ball did touch his hand on its way down, and that did deflect the ball back into his path. The wash-up is, it's Gold Coast United 1, Gold Coast Knights 1. Guy That was not far away at all from Xander Guy. What a way that would have been to open his Gold Coast United account. Guy's another one who, the former Palm Beach and Gold Coast City junior player. A good spell at Logan Lightning over the past couple of seasons. This game does have the potential to be a bit of a tinderbox. Does appear that the bench has calmed down. Notes have been collected. Prasad goes in on Wernerson. Wernerson did well. Pass over the top for Reeves. Langdon was a long way out of his line. Out of his penalty area indeed. Morton gets the ball back under control and Luke Austin puts his foot on it. Langdon a bit more conventional this time. Long ball towards Prasad. Prasad leaps, gets there ahead of LeMay. Gets another header there ahead of LeMay. Now it's Brown. Jared Kyle. Brown on the edge of the penalty area. It doesn't find its way through to Mitch Nichols and off goes Michael Thwaite. Xander Guy is falling for Guy on the edge of the penalty area. Guy cutting back inside on his left foot. Did it take a deflection? By the way, Xander Guy is trying to hide his face inside his shirt. I'd guess not. Right idea though from Xander Guy and Gold Coast United, having finished the first half so strongly, have found the scent again. Matt Schmidt is still blowing up about the decisions and various decisions that he and the Knights feel have gone against him. Gray Piddock is quite rightly telling him that he needs to move past that. Cool heads required. Here's an awkward one. Oh, it is awkward on the edge of a penalty area. Erneson was there as Boyd slid out, and you wonder how close Boyd was to the edge of his penalty area there, and that's what created that hesitation. Difficult to see from my new low position after that excellent chat with Matt Smith at half-time. New signing for Gold Coast Knights, not playing today, still waiting for international clearance from former side Kitchee, whom he won the Senior Shield and FA Cup in Hong Kong recently. Just finished the season there after playing in Europe, in Asian competition. McKay, was that a handball? It was a handball! And Gold Coast Knights, have a penalty. It's a yellow card for McKay. The first of the game, and a golden opportunity for Gold Coast Knights to get themselves back into this match. LeMay is down inside the penalty area, and he'll make Sam Smith wait. And we've seen Sam Smith take penalties before on these Football Queensland live streams, and he does not leave you wanting as to whether the ball's got enough power to get past the goalkeeper, that's for sure. Might be a bit of trouble here for Brandon LeMay. Gold Coast Knights don't have a huge amount on the bench. In fact, all 5 of the bench players are under 20s. The average age of that bench is 18, so I'm told. So LeMay might be in a spot of bother here. He's just got to his feet now. Just apologies for the slight pause. Gray Piddock has come and had a quick chat, and he was still upset about the handball that was not spotted for Connor Smith's goal. Players have massed, or supporters, sorry, have massed on the edge of the penalty area. Matt McKay is having a conversation with our Total Tools official, Xander Guy. Sorry, not Xander Guy, it's Jaden Prasad is with him. McKay is still shaking his head. Gray Piddock is questioning how long it's taking to get this penalty. Sam Smith Hasn't scored in his last 3 games. In fact, he's only been 2 in his last 10. Make that 3 in his last 11. Sam Smith doubles his advantage. And it's his second goal of the game. And Gold Coast Knights are back on top here at Coplex. They lead Gold Coast United by 2-1. You can't help but think there are plenty more incidents to talk about in this game. Sam Smith scored 2 so far in this match. He's doubled his tally from his last 10 games. And the player from Derby in the United Kingdom actually managed 7 in his first 6 matches of the season, so wasn't a little bit of a drought, if anything, Sam Smith. That was a comprehensive penalty. And that's sloppy from Wernerson. Oh, and very sloppy again at the back from Campbell. Mitch Nichols just nipped in there. Oh, that's lovely from Yabe. He's been excellent tonight, Yabe. And Sam Smith is doing battle with the Japanese left back, and the 24-year-old does get the better on that occasion again. Hugely impressive performance so far. Prasad's header only as far as LeMay, who's not showing any ill effects from that delay that caused the penalty to be so delayed. Campbell, Yabe, back inside to Smith. That's Connor Smith, who scored the goal for Gold Coast United. That equalised, a controversial equaliser after the hand may have been used. Gold Coast Knights rightly aggrieved by their opinion. Justice has been served with that penalty for handball against Justin McKay. Thwaite, wide to Yabe. Yabe first time over to that far side, and Miller, who was also excellent in that first half for Gold Coast United. Thwaite goes down under the attentions of Kyle, who looks a lot more at home in the centre of the park, has to be said. When he's playing out wide left, he just doesn't seem to have the pace to effect damage. But then, if you want pace, well, Gold Coast Knights have pace on the bench. Shannon Brady, former Raw player and former Raw junior, has got pace to burn. Prasad has pace to burn on the left, picks up possession. Schmidt can't turn the ball around the corner, and Thwaite gets it out towards Tom Miller on that far side. Miller running into a spot of bother though, goes back to Yabe. Yabe inside to Campbell. Campbell switches play to LeMay. LeMay under pressure from Prasad. Constant presence on that right-hand side of the Gold Coast United defence. Gold Coast Knights left. Now it's United going down the left-hand side. That was poor from Yabe. First time pass, and tempting to find Miller, I think, but Miller was nowhere near it really. Thwaite brings it down though from the clearance by Langdon. Now Yabe has another opportunity. Campbell. Thwaite. Yabe. Yabe goes crossfield towards Guy. Good vision from the Japanese player. Guy back to LeMay, but didn't anticipate LeMay's pace. Bernerson to Thwaite. Look at the ball bobble as it goes across this field. It's held up a lot better than I expected, having walked across it before the match. Had an awful lot of rain here on the Gold Coast. As Gray Piddock looks to make his first change, and it'll be Nick Panetta who gets the chance. He scored the last time he started a match against Redlands United. Has been used as a substitute in both matches since, and the 2 matches prior. The former Raw youth player. Scored 5 goals this season in his 17 appearances, has Nick Panetta, and he will replace Jaden Prasad, whose goalless run continues. Another fine performance on the left from Prasad. collision over on that far side involved Danny Morton. He pinballed off a couple of yellow shirts, did for Gold Coast Knights. Showing no ill effects, although same can't be said of a couple of those United players over on that far side, as Xander Guy gets ran into a blind alley and Luke Austin wins the free kick. Prasad often gets taken off at this sort of time in the match, and you just can't help but think he's such a threat, Jaden Prasad, in everything that he does going forward, and can have the potential to break open a game in an instant. Wasn't afforded that opportunity in the latter part of this match, and you do just wonder, with constant pressure being put on Brandon LeMay, whether or not that was a good option. But Panetta is on now, but he's an interested observer only, as Smith just went towards Yunya Yabe there, and it's a yellow card to Sam Smith. That's his third yellow card of the season. Sam Smith getting plenty of notes next to his name in the referee's notebook. And there's just a little conversation going on with the linesman as well over on that far side. Sorry, assistant referee over on that far side as well. I think a yellow is all that it will be for the Gold Coast Knights captain. Thwaite gets play back underway. Good jump from Reeves. Guy's chasing, but it's hammered upfield. Kyle was offside, flag went up. Came from that offside position. Campbell looking for an option, doesn't have it because LeMay was a bit too far advanced. Verneson swings and doesn't hit the ball. That allows Kyle to play the ball back inside towards Brown. Brown into the middle, and there's an opportunity now, is it? Flags up. Matt Schmidt really should have done better, you'd think. Yellow card is shown. Yellow card is shown, I think, to Mitch Nichols. Cards are starting to flow a little now. We mentioned the youthful Gold Coast United bench. Here comes one of those players. And it's a debut for Josh Deeren. Played 5 games in the under-20s, 10 games in the under-18s for former Olympic junior. He replaces Tom Miller, who I thought was excellent over on that far side, the 20-year-old. Looks like Gray Piddock will respond as well. And that free kick is rather wasted. Looks like Adam Indian, former Western Pride Championship winner, will be coming on. Yabe with the throw. Smith uses his strength and does well. Dropping very deep is Sam Smith. Neat football and neat footwork from Schmidt. Almost outdid himself though, and had to act quickly to stop Connor Smith from nipping in and stealing that ball. The ball's played forward and Thwaite gets there. Sloppy tackle from Schmidt. Thwaite continues his run, now plays the ball forward towards Brandon Reeves. Brandon Reeves, I'm not quite sure who he was looking for there. Found its way through to Josh Langdon. Thwaite reads that one, McKay. Verneson looking long towards Reeves. That's the game plan. Try and get the ball to Reeves as quickly as possible, but it's not quite working at the moment. The pass is not quite accurate enough, and Langdon just takes a little bit of time. Frustration mounting with 15 minutes remaining. Still plenty of time for more action in this match. The Knights look to close the gap on the teams above them. Of course, two of those teams playing against each other tonight up at AJ Kelly. If you're watching this game instead of that one, it's half time there, and Olympic lead Peninsula Power by 3-2. Entertaining first half up at AJ Kelly. Costa Psaros with a double, and Smith getting in on the action as well. As Knights play the ball around the edge of the penalty area. It was Panetta, the substitute, who got the ball stuck under his feet on the edge of the penalty area. As Smith goes to deck. Briggs and Kuna scoring a goal at the end of each quarter of that match to keep things entertaining. Panetta's only just come on. Panetta is going to be yellow carded. That's his third yellow card of the season. Michael Thwaite getting a little bit frustrated with this delay, although the referee did motion that he was taking time off. Didn't have any yellow cards in the first half. They've started to mount now. Neat interplay between Guy and Reeves. Reeves lays the ball off to McKay. McKay doesn't have the chance to fashion a shot. Smith with the header! It's off the foot of the post! So close to the equalising goal for Gold Coast United. Brilliant ghosting run by Connor Smith, nipping in around the outside edge of the defence. It took a deflection on its way past because it is a corner and Smith will take. He arrows that one towards the penalty area. Flying header, and that one just misses the post as well. Thwaite threw himself at that ball, arrowed in by Connor Smith. Plenty of life left in this match yet. Adam Indian is coming onto the field, and Max Brown is coming off. His goal scoring run coming to an end. We'll see how the former championship winner goes now. Another good innings from Max Brown. Did score last time against Gold Coast United. Won't repeat that dose today, obviously. Another little delay with just under 12 minutes remaining, plus whatever time the referee deems appropriate to add on. Xander Guy. LeMay. LeMay wants an option. McKay was that option, but the delay stopped that ball from coming. Then McKay plays the ball straight to the feet of Panetta. Panetta crabs across field to Nichols. Nichols wide to Walker. Walker goes back. Good intervention there by Campbell. He's making a nuisance of himself now. Excellent work again. Yabe with his foot on the ball. Here's McKay. McKay chipping the ball towards this near side. That's a really good pass and really good control over on that far side of the field. Wasn't the right pass though. Xander Guy was being marked by new man Adam Endin. Who was shown the yellow card there? Jason Campbell, I'm being told. Instead, the yellow cards have started to flow now. It's 2 for United and 3 for Knights. LeMay closes down that long ball. Guy McKay to Campbell. Back at the feet of Thwaite, who goes wide to Yabe. McKay got his foot in but couldn't direct the ball towards Smith. Yabe does well. Here's Smith. What a ball that is from Smith over towards Xander Guy. Xander Guy on the edge of the penalty area. Stood up by Schmidt. It is a corner. And how good are these deliveries from Connor Smith? This guy going to go short. I wouldn't recommend it with the delivery that Connor Smith has in his locker. There's an equaliser coming here. 9 minutes remaining plus stoppage time. At the near post was Xander Guy. It's going to come straight back to Connor Smith. He'll hit it first time towards the back post. Everyone's there for Gold Coast United. Looked like he might have come off a yellow shirted player last, but it was a white shoulder, I'm being told. I have to have Mark Guy alongside me every week. Smith trots over to the far side of the field to deliver this ball in. All the tall players are in there. Xander Guy, one of those tall players. Thwaite's giving himself a bit of a run-up against Sam Smith at the back post. Two captains. It's there, it's in! It's a mistake from Langdon, I think. He came to claim and wasn't able to. It's a lovely delivery again from Connor Smith. I couldn't tell you who got the final touch, I'm afraid. But we're all locked again, all square at 2 each. Another pinpoint delivery from Connor Smith. And in the bundle that followed, I don't wonder if Justin McKay might have injured himself. We'll try and wait for some confirmation as to who scored that goal, but we're all shaking our heads here. Looks like it's got in direct from the corner. He is capable, more than capable of that. So both goals coming from the Smiths. It's a Smith party down on the Gold Coast tonight with the introduction of Matt Smith to the Gold Coast supporters in the clubhouse, and indeed our interview at half-time. Sam Smith getting a double for Gold Coast Knights, and Connor Smith at least being credited with a double here for Gold Coast United as well. So, 7 minutes remaining for one of these two sides to find a winner. A draw won't necessarily suit Gold Coast Knights in their race for a premiership. Christian Rees having a light-hearted moment with Matt Schmidt. At least I hope it was light-hearted. Former teammates at Gold Coast City. Kyle is crowded out of that one. LeMay clears. Smith goes to deck. Reeves. Back to Guy. An opportunity for the substitute Dean to chase. Gold Coast nice switch the angle. I'll go all the way back though to Hoffman. Christian Rees demanding some shape from his side. Solid bank of four at the back. Smith is wide right for Gold Coast Knights. Panetta is wide left. Stretching the play, Kyle through the middle. He's being watched like a hawk by Wernerson and Thwaite. And it is Thwaite who hammers that ball back upfield. It's going to come straight back to him though. This time Kyle challenges. Kyle challenges brilliantly. And then Wernerson jumped straight into the Gold Coast Knights player. I'm not quite sure who it was. Was it Adam Dean who went to deck there? It wasn't. It was Jaden Walker. Knights bench is blowing up about that decision as well. They've had some go against them. Certainly Connor Smith's first goal, there was more than a hint of handball in the build up to that. So Knights do have reason to feel aggrieved. Wonder if Nick Panetta can provide the salve for that bitterness. He had to have been barged off the ball there by Brandon LeMay. And that's not the decision that's gone that way, and Panetta is furious. He's already been booked as Nick Panetta. That wasn't wise, having a go at the referee like that, and Mitch Nichols is just having a conversation with the official, and it might be that experience that could have saved Nick Panetta there, because that was very aggressive motions towards the referee. He's not happy with the officiating, is Nick Panetta. He'd have to be careful about letting them know it. He has already been shown a yellow card, and the last thing Gray Piddock will want is to see a red card being shown. Here's Smith. Oh, Smith just switches that one inside, and it almost deceived everybody. Reeves didn't get a touch. He just missed past the outside of this near post. A couple of times Gold Coast Knights have peppered that near post in this second half. Luke Marsh is preparing to come on for Gold Coast Knights. That'll be the last roll of the dice from Gray Piddock. Shannon Brady, the unused substitute. If that is the direction that he goes in, and it looks like he will. Smith jumps highest over the head of Morton. McKay does well to Guy. Guy switches play over towards that far side of the field. Smith does really well to mop up. Here's Yabe. Yabe wants to go inside. LeMay's made a run on this near side, and LeMay's in all sorts of space. Gets the touch. Gold Coast United just moving Knights around. Lovely touch from Guy towards LeMay. Really good touch from LeMay. LeMay puts a teasing ball across. A diving land and didn't get a touch in the end. It is a goal kick. Excellent football between Xander Guy and Brandon LeMay. And we are going to see that final change from Gray Piddock. Luke Marsh is the man who's coming on, and he's going to replace Jared Kyle. Kyle's been excellent tonight up front, leading the line. His run of scoring in each of his last 6 games ended last week with the 4-0 victory over Peninsula Power. And it's another game without a goal for the man who has 8 goals from his 15 matches. And it is Luke Marsh who comes on. That's not a great goal kick from Langdon. Austin's going to have to mop up. Smith doing all the chasing. Connor Smith has been absolutely tireless up front. That's excellent from McKay to get the better there. And here's more good football from Xander Guy. He links up with LeMay. LeMay forward towards Reeves. LeMay on the overlap. Bit too heavy from LeMay though. Another promising move breaks down. They finish the halves so well, Gold Coast United. In the last few times I've seen them play, they have just been absolutely rambunctious in the last 10 minutes of each period. They've made it count here with that equalising goal from Connor Smith. Not too much controversy about it. Coming direct from a corner, he delivers them so well, and when he's got that ability to sweep it in and curl it in towards the goal, it's ever so difficult for goalkeepers to deal with. Justin Mackay goes down again. This time Marsh was the guilty party. It is a free kick to Gold Coast United. Thwaite steals 5 yards or so. Is there time for either side to find a winner? We are just approaching the final 60 seconds of the 90 minutes. Reeves couldn't jump for the header, or rather chose not to. Smith continuing to chase. He really is the Duracell bunny up front and in the midfield for Gold Coast United. Put a foot in there, but an opportunity here for Adam Ndine. Adam Ndine plays the ball through towards Nick Panetta. Nick Panetta one-on-one with the keeper. It's a really good save from Jackson Boyd. We did just enough. It's a goal kick, in fact. Jackson Boyd came streaming out of his goal, and Panetta, all he needed to do was lift it over the top. He just couldn't do so. What a chance that was in the final minute of the 90 here for Gold Coast Knights. It is still Gold Coast United 2, Gold Coast Knights 2. stat from some of the matches that did take place on the weekend. 4 of the 5 matches finished in away wins at the cost of just 1 goal. It's 3-1 to Magpies Crusaders against Sunshine Coast, 4-1 to Lions at Strikers, 3-1 to City at Easts, and 6-1 to Raw at Moreton Bay United. Xander Guy couldn't get there, and now comes up against Matt Schmidt. Schmidt backtracks and goes back across the place. The pressure from Gold Coast United is really impressive in these dying stages. We are in time added on in the hands of the referee. I can't tell you how much time will be added on, but I imagine it'll be between 4 and 5 minutes based on what we've seen. Have had a couple of long delays as that ball forward is comfortably gathered by Boyd. Ball is launched upfield. Reeves jumped, but was unable to get his head on the ball with any authority. Lovely touch from LeMay, and LeMay plays that ball all the way forward. Really good football from Brandon LeMay, who's worked really hard at right back for Gold Coast United in this match. Derbies always throw up excitement. We've had plenty to talk about in this one. It's Gold Coast United 2, Gold Coast Knights 2. Both sides have come from a goal down. No apologies. It's United coming from a goal down twice. So I get my numbers right as Panetta is pushed to the deck by Brandon LeMay. We're going to have a substitution. It's going to be another one of the youngsters, Jarrah Hall-Hart, who comes on. He's the top scorer for the under-20s with 11 goals. Jarrah Hall-Hart now would be a fantastic time to get his first goal for the senior team in what is his 4th appearance. Brandon Reeves, who has worked so hard up front, is coming off the field. He looks like he's put the work in, as indeed have all these Gold Coast United players. Justin Mackay picks himself up off the deck once more. He has been everywhere and he's copped a couple of knocks for his troubles as well. I don't think the referee ever blew the whistle, but he's allowed play to continue. And Dean uses the shoulder. Not to great effect though. Campbell clears upfield towards the substitute. Hall-Hart. And Hall-Hart does just enough to effect that error from Roman Hoffman. Thwaite does well and gets through the back of Smith. So it's not Smith who he gets the better of, it's Marsh. Marsh looks incredulous that it's not a throw in to his side, the Knights. Instead it is Gold Coast United who have just 1 minute to find a winner. They can't do that without the ball at their feet. The official over on that far side changed his mind as to which way that decision should have gone. Yarbe is instructed to throw the ball forward by Rees. Yarbe plays that ball off Sam Smith. In fact, that is all we're going to have in this match. A lion-hearted draw between Gold Coast United and Gold Coast Knights. 2 each is the final score. And we've been treated to a real exhibition of derby football here. Both sides appear to have some sort of problem with the way the match was refereed. It has to be said, I think Gold Coast Knights will feel hard done by the opening goal for Gold Coast United. It certainly looked like there was a hand in there for Connor Smith, but both these sides share plenty of history and indeed plenty of players, so they're all shaking hands now fairly amicably. It got heated on occasion, but otherwise a fantastic match, and it really did have a little bit of everything. We had a handball that resulted in a goal, a handball that resulted in a penalty that led to a goal. An absolutely fantastic football. It was a festival of the Smiths here at Coplick Sports Park. 2 goals from Connor Smith for Gold Coast United in reply to 2 goals for Sam Smith for Gold Coast Knights. Either side of an interview with new Gold Coast Knights signing Matt Smith. A fantastic game of football to watch for the neutrals, but Gold Coast Knights won't be happy at dropping 2 points in their fight for National Premier League's glory. We'll give you a quick update from the match up at AJ Kelly, and if you're a fan of Smith scoring goals, you're going to be really happy with this, because Alex Smith has scored his second of the game up at AJ Kelly, and Olympic lead Peninsula Power by 4 goals to 2. So as things stand, although there is still half an hour to go up there on the peninsula, Olympic will stay in 3rd spot and move up just 3 points behind Lions with a game in hand. Gold Coast Knights do still have 2 games in hand on Lions and Peninsula Power, but are 7 points behind Lions and 8 points behind Peninsula Power. The table looks like this. Peninsula Power on top with 51 points. That could change if the result up in AJ Kelly changes as well. Lions are at 2nd on 50. Olympic, if the result stays the same, will move up to 47 points. Gold Coast Knights have stayed in 4th on 43 points. Gold Coast United go clear of Eastern Suburbs in 5th spot with 32 points. Plenty more football to come later this week. And in the National Premier League's Queensland, we have a relegation 6-pointer. If there ever was a relegation 6-pointer, it's this one. Western Pride against Sunshine Coast. 7 o'clock out at Briggs Road. I will be bringing you all the coverage from Ipswich as both those sides look to alleviate their relegation fears, or at least go some way towards that. It is tight at the bottom. Sunshine Coast are bottom with 7 points. Southwest Queensland Thunder have 2 games in hand on them. They have 11. Pride have 1 game in hand on Sunshine Coast. They have 12 points. Magpies Crusaders have 17 with a game in hand on Redlands, who have 19 points. We'll wrap things up here from Coplix Family Sports Park now. Simon Smale has been your caller. We were joined briefly by Matt Smith, who was a pleasure to talk to, the former Raw captain. We hope you enjoyed that interview. Gold Coast United 2, Gold Coast Knights 2 is the final score. Connor Smith scoring a goal after Sam Smith scoring each goal. The second for Connor Smith was a glorious shot from the corner flag, and indeed direct from a set piece. The first, well, that was highly controversial, coming as it did courtesy of a handball, which he used to control the ball when running through on goal. Both sides have their chances. Gold Coast United hit the post a couple of times, and indeed the crossbar as well, as indeed did Gold Coast Knights. Sam Smith could have had a hat-trick in that regard, but it was not enough for the visitors. And a fantastic game of football in front of a very healthy crowd who will be going home very satisfied from Coplix Family Sports Park here. We'll wrap things up now. Best of luck to the Lionesses tomorrow in their match against the US Women's National Team. And we'll finish things up here. Enjoy your rest of your week of football. From Simon Smale, this has been a double take production for Football Queensland. We'll see you on Saturday out in Ipswich for Western Pride against Sunshine Coast.